There we go. Now, the name of the game this stream, politics. I am going to break down for you how the 2024 presidential election between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump is going to go down. First up, the vibe is in the air that Trump is strong. Even the mainstream media, I hate saying mainstream media because that's such the way the conservative grifters would couch that. I don't think there's much denying that he seems to have the momentum. Every time you see Kamala, it is talking in some kind of circle, not actually answering questions. Dodge, 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 dodgeball. She can't dodge a wrench. She can't dodge a ball. She doesn't answer the questions. Let me be clear. And then she proceeds not to be clear. It's a disaster. Donald Trump right now is cool. I'm wearing the high vis jacket to the rally. I'm in the garbage truck. It seems weird. I'm calling his supporters garbage. So is he taking out the garbage? That seems odd, but he is seemingly in the past month the cool, relatable guy. And you're actually seeing a lot of clips of the people of color actually like supporting him hard. When he has the stream from Joe Rogan, people are in the comments, hey, we're from whatever country and we're supporting America here. Good luck with you guys. We're all rooting for you, as in we're hoping for Donald Trump. They're not pulling for Kamala. Kamala brings in the celebrities, and even then, aren't they kind of like waning celebrities? They're all 40 plus for the most part, except Cardi B. It's probably going down right now, and I'm just missing it. But these celebrities show up, and then people show up at a rally because they want the free concert. Hey, we're going to get a Beyonce concert if we get on the bus, right? And that's the way that works. But for Donald Trump, oh, he had the tenacity, the intestinal fortitude. What impression was I trying to do there? Stephen A meets Randy Savage. Oh yeah. So if he does a rally in Madison Square Garden, he's a Nazi. Like even if you only get your news from CBS World News Tonight of Norah O'Donnell, you can't possibly actually believe that. Hell, the boss is going to have these concerts for Kamala Harris, right? How many times has he played in Madison Square Garden, right? Oh, so do we equate that to a Nazi rally also? Is nobody allowed to play in Madison Square Garden because there was once a Nazi rally? Ancient history ago, like the only person alive who could have gone to it would have been like Joe Biden. Actually, it might have even been before Joe Biden was born. Yeah, that might actually be the case. I don't think that tying Donald Trump to the Nazi imagery here is about the election at all. There is some hope that we can, and by the way, it was never about the machines from Brazil, the Dominion voting machines. They were never the problem. It was stuffing the ballot. You bring in the ballots, you put them in the box, you sign them for all the old people at their nursing home, and they're on all the meds. They don't know who they voted for, and you just give them who you want to vote, right? And that's the way that would go. There's some hope that would work, or that you can keep fleecing a base and get them to vote for Kamala Harris. That is the Dems' plan, stage one. But they have a backup plan that they had an ace in the hole this whole time, and it is Joe Biden. It's not that Joe Biden likes Kamala Harris. He wants to be on Mount Rushmore. There is a way to add him to Mount Rushmore, and here's how it goes. Donald Trump wins the popular vote, the Electoral College, but we're going to pull the 14th Amendment on you. Joe Biden is going to say, well, demagogue, Hitler. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to ratify that. So what they're going to do is say this whole time the Republican nominee was not eligible. He's an insurrectionist. We're over here having mostly peaceful protests, but when you have a protest, it's an insurrection. So he's going to be labeled the insurrectionist. He's not eligible to become president. And then Kamala Harris, being a champion for women, Joe Biden will just say Kamala is the president. We had to have Joe out of the way because when he goes against the vote, when he throws that out, says election interference, all demagogue, he wasn't eligible. They're going to throw a lot of things, and you're going to be like, you know what? Maybe Donald Trump was Hitler this whole time. Hell, we didn't know Hitler was Hitler until he got power, and then like absolute power, and then we knew that we didn't like him. That sort of idea. If Joe Biden is on the ticket, then he's the dictator. He's not stepping down. He'll never leave, right? That's what you wanted to make Donald Trump look like. But if Kamala Harris is on the ticket and Joe Biden says, nope, Trump's not eligible, bring her in, it's a whole different ballgame. Now he goes down in the history books as the president who saved democracy. The more you know. Doon, 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 doon. We have an audience of 3. Do we have any paying customers here? Guys, get that like and stuff going. That's really about all I had to say for the spiel on the election. I'll probably repackage that as a video um, for tomorrow or something because people don't click on this after. Why would we do that? He doesn't have boobs in his picture here, and I feel like YouTube will want that like taken down. What? You can't say that they're going to rig the election, that the vote doesn't matter. You can't say that. Well, you do get in an ass load of trouble if you say you can vote by text message to one group. You can vote on. I see this one Asian comic. She's saying Super Wednesday is the day to vote. Asian comic. All of the failed actresses who can't even book a commercial become stand-up comics now. Not funny. There's guys who want it in their pants and they'll tell them they're funny. And that is why we have such bad female comedians coming out of the woodwork. I like it in the 90s. We had what? One female comedian who was getting projects, Ellen. And it seems like the crux to humor is that you want to impress women. So, of course, Ellen can't be straight, right? She's got to impress gals. That seems to be the key to comedy. And I don't like coming up with rules because then it's like rules end up getting broken anyway. So then why set them in this case? It's not a law. Laws get broken. We can come up with laws. People break them. You're not supposed to murder your wife. People do it anyway. So what I would say for comedy, I would give like best practices. Here are some things to avoid, some things not to avoid, whatever. Tony Hinchcliffe, I think people know him better as Kill Tony. Not too familiar with the podcast. I see of it trending. Looks to me like it's almost like a gong show type thing. Like you come and impress him and you get to stay and he makes all the money. Not really my cup of tea. So at any rate, I don't know why they decided to have a roast comic at that rally. It seems like the wrong move for most of the country. It's very, very weird who gets offended these days. The liberal hippie left who wanted all the freedom and stuff, they're the ones who get offended all the time. And instead, it's the conservatives who in the 90s would have been the ones organizing the boycott, who would have been rallying to their church, right? Who would have had the picket signs and things and like, you can't do this. And there'd be all these rules. Those are the ones willing to have fun now. We are in bizarro land. I can't wrap my head around how we ended up over here. Just this weird polar shift. Oh, well, we want to be offended now, and we're over here for free speech. Now, let's not put too much of an emphasis on the free speech part. Elon Musk is being held as this guy who saved free speech. When you're paying for it, I had to drop like, what, $100 on Twitter Premium Plus, so I'd have an ad-free experience. You know what? In the week I've had that, I actually have gained some followers because now when you reply, not only do you have the blue check mark next to your name, you also are like up the ranks on the reply. And that is the OnlyFans grift over here, over on Twitter. They've made these bots so sophisticated with these OnlyFans broads. They reply to anything that is suggested to them. Therefore, it is trending. And they make it seem like in earnest. Like it'll be there's talk about this Veilguard game, and your character talks like some kind of Sex and the City broad from New York City. Like she has to hurry back to her apartment, the one her dad bought her, and they will reply, "She sounds like Carrie Bradshaw. This game is so whack." Or whatever. Or, I like the second one, but this one I'm not really feeling it, especially for 70 bucks. They'll reply like that. And then you think, oh, okay, well, she looks kind of cool. Click all my links down here. I only reply to the, and then you know what you got. And that's X for you right now. I think that there is some lawfare in play that one bank that obviously doesn't like Elon Musk has devalued, like you're going to settle for the, oh, well, X lost all of its value under Elon Musk. It's worth less than 10 billion, but Donald Trump's Trump Media is worth over 10 billion. Okay, let's see. It has one, I don't know, 8% of the use as Twitter. Like almost nothing is happening on True Social. Yet we're going to say it's worth more because if Donald Trump becomes president, what, he has to sell all of his shares or something? Like, what is going on here? It's really just to make a dig at Elon Musk. But I think there is some pressure from other places, well, applied to other places. Facebook is not going to say, okay, you get to say that's a Russian thing over here. We're going to not allow it. Because look what happened last time. They've got a little bit of something in the game. They're not nearly as strong as they were. They're going to have to not clamp down on the censorship, but try to censor themselves and really take things into consideration. I don't think that we can any longer say Russian bots are interfering. The Dems won't pull that card. They've got the ultimate ace up the hole, a once in a lifetime opportunity to say, this guy over here is Hitler. We've been telling you in the media he's Hitler for ages. Don't you want to not vote for Hitler? We can't let Hitler take control over the country. And sure, it did entice people to take some shots at him. They didn't need that to happen. It's kind of a happy accident that it does. We didn't directly tell you to commit violence, but if you do, it kind of works out well for us. Kind of like how, oh, I don't know, Aaliyah didn't need to get in a plane crash for Beyonce to become famous, but she sure did benefit from it. I can't believe I'm not drawing a crowd here. What kind of insane stuff do I need to say to get people to show up? Actually, I probably need a better light on my face, to be honest with you. Oh, wow, that's so much better. Yeah, so that's the name of the game, and go vote, vote early or whatever if you want to. My folks voted early, had to wait 2 hours in line. There's gonna be more on the day of. One year, I voted and it was like nothing was happening. Like, I just zip, zip. And then I think this last election, the 2021, it was like a 2-hour wait. It was pretty massive. And I if you think about it, does the most hyped up base, are those the ones willing to sit through and exercise their constitutional right to kind of sort of count? I don't know. It seems like you want to reach those middle people, the sensible ones who kind of took a little while to decide. But are they willing to sit and wait for 2 hours? Probably not so much. They're certainly not willing to, disown all their family members who voted different way and things like that, and not put out the signs and not do the free campaigning and not donate to the cause, which somehow results in a bunch of campaign pack leaders getting Ferrari F80s, which kind of sucks also because it's got like a V6. We're kind of going the wrong direction there, Ferrari. I mean, hell, I would rather get the Red Bull RB17 with the naturally aspirated V10 that does 10,000 RPM, even though it's track only. But hey, what do I know? I don't get free donations all the time or text every person in the country and pretend that I'm going to give them a dark MAGA hat for $5. How can you possibly expect any of that to be legitimate? How do you know that your money is actually going to the campaign you're being told it is? How come that's just not a basic scam? What? The election year? Is that the one time we're allowed to have basic scams legalized? Everything is insane. You know what? I think I might have actually lost an upvote. I thought for a second there it said 2 upvotes, and now it doesn't. So, hold on now, how do I screw this up? Oh my god, I messed this up. Can I not vote my own up here? Yeah, I can. Cool. Maybe I accidentally downvoted my own stream because it was showing up kind of funny. It's probably not even gonna count. Oh, you're logged in and you're watching your own stream? That's so pathetic. But yeah, everything's crazy. Oh, I do want to show you my latest pickup here, and let's see if I can not cause a huge problem. So this is the back actually, and it kind of comes off. I've had this happen with a few steel books. They kind of like package it with a back, but then it's like, what are you going to do with it, right? But um, so this is Macross Plus, which I was showing to my mom on the pod. And in this version, you actually get some like art included here. Big, rather thick art stuff. There's also like I think they call it A4 paper. Got to be kind of careful here. Now you can only get this at Crunchyroll store, but and it's exclusive there, and it says limited to 3 per customer, which is quite a bit. Usually you see 1 per customer on stuff, so that's kind of odd. And inside there, you kind of have this art book. The Macross Plus Archives. Oh, look, we have a plus sign on the back. And oh boy, it's big. I think that it's over 180 pages with drawings aplenty. Let's see if we can kind of get that out here. And I got this on Monday. Kind of neat stuff here. And the weird part is it's this top area is where we're storing the discs. Now I have 1 disc in the Xbox right now, and that's the OVA collection with the 4 OVA movies. I think they're about 45 minutes apiece. And then there's a movie version. Now, extra cool points here. The English dub on this is from 94 and 95. Make sure I got that cleaned off, sort of. You do get the English version, which I prefer. It's not like any of the sound is captured live on an anime, so there's no real benefit to having to read the subtitle and appreciate the artwork and the animation. Just give me a good English dub, and the English dubs are typically quite good on anime. This one stars Bryan Cranston when he was but a humble dentist, and I think that's pretty neat. I watched 2 of the 4 episodes so far, and I have no issue with it. Who dat? Trump for prison. Oh, we actually have a member, huh? Who who is who dat? Hey, you're paying $2.99 to be a member to say whatever you want. I've responded to all the questions here. Um, Not cheap and only available through Crunchyroll store, but I think they still have some because I was talking about on the podcast today, and it actually seemed to still be a thing available. I had been wanting to see Macross Plus for at least 25 years. I'd seen of it listed in like comic book or video game magazines in like the late 90s, even people were mentioning it. There were like, remember in magazines how you could like order things like order by mail and then have a list of titles and everything was stupid expensive, low print VHS, maybe there's some laser disc or whatever, but you get a lot of physical media goodies with this, and it's the only version you can get. You can't get a typical clamshell, steelbook, any of that stuff with this Blu-ray release. And yeah, but I'm also kind of thinking here, in the case of Blu-ray, I'm going to have to do another video on this in particular. Maybe Blu-ray Anime isn't all that necessary for a number of reasons. What if, and in fact, Blu-ray movies, let's get into that a little bit. We were looking at Friday the 13th, 2009, and I was reading the included pamphlet thing. And it had one page about the restoration, how it was like a new scan from the 2K digital intermediate. So the film was shot in film, edited digitally in 2K. Ergo, oh, we're up to three thumbs up. Keep them coming, guys. One, two, three. If it's essentially then mastered in 2K, what good is the 4K? 4K mastered at 2K, so actually a 2K movie will be 50% more pixels than the 1080p Blu-ray. Now your benefit may be the Dolby Vision or similar HDR10. Nobody seems to put HDR10 plus on a disc. You can't find them. So if you have something that won't play Dolby Vision, then you're going to settle for the HDR10, which frankly is about the same. But if we get to a point in time where we're looking at certain movies like that 2009, let's do the digital intermediate in 2K. Is it worth paying big money for the 4K disc when you're really not getting 4K? You're getting half of 4K. And then we want to charge a premium for the disc, call it a restoration or whatever. Oh, yeah, sure. We scanned the original negatives. It's 2009. It's not ancient. Then we end up with something like The Terminator, which I am awaiting towards the end of this month. I'll probably get it right before Thanksgiving if I'm lucky. Man, hello, hello, hello. Hawaiian calendar. Nice. These are names I don't recognize. Thanks for signing up. I do have, hold on, members chat is probably not on, and that's why you're able to talk, isn't it? Yeah, I probably screwed up and didn't have members only chat on. Yeah, because look, I had to redo everything for the stream here because when I started the stream, it was like, "Oh, you wanna do streaming software?" I'm like, "No, do webcam and I'll swap the cameras later." And then when I start the stream up, that's why I was late. It was like, "Oh, well, you can't do that. You don't have your OBS." I'm shit's sake. Okay, fine. Copy and paste, drag over here, and that's how we ended up with this. So yeah, I guess we're just doing open bar tonight over here. Everybody's got a question. Go ahead and say whatever. Ah, hell. The one member I have is gonna be upset. Why are you answering their questions? So, back to the Terminator. I know everybody wants to clown on the James Cameron treatment. You're using AI to spruce up these movies, remove the grain. Have you seen the Terminator or Aliens lately? They're grainy as all hell. James Cameron actually has a good explanation for why Aliens was so grainy. They like Kim Lab wasn't ready for their film yet. And so like all the films that year came out grainier than they should have. And he's right over there at Kodak. Well, I can totally understand the justification for trying to clean that movie up and make it look like the movie he was standing there watching get shot. I can see that. When you buy the Terminator or Aliens on 4K, at least you're paying for some kind of process. A restoration, uh, a new remaster shot of the original negatives. Hell, let's use the interpositive, whatever. Then you end up over here with our buddies, Deadpool and Wolverine, which I pre ordered from Walmart for a ton of money and haven't received yet. And I'm probably going to cancel. I go to the subreddit for Steelbooks, and they're like, you know what? I got Deadpool and Wolverine today, $70, and I'm not doing this. I'm sending it back to Amazon. They just kept the price super crazy high. Disney does not want to be in the physical media space. Full stop. Their Blu-rays are made by Sony. They're packaged by Sony. Sony has incentive to keep churning these out. Walmart themselves, they're like customer service guy. His name's Muhammad. I got him 2 days. Hey, contact me if you don't get your package in 40. You're saying it's been shipped, but over here at FedEx, it's saying a waiting package. Kawhi, I'll get to you in a second here. So we end up with this whole horse monkey business, and I'm still haven't actually gotten a packaged. FedEx just says that label created, waiting. Muhammad over at Walmart says, "Oh, well, it'll be restocked." So it wasn't all that collectible. It wasn't all that limited. And you're paying what? Maybe like an extra $35 for the steelbook? Pretty crazy. And it's not a process behind it. Um, this isn't, we had to remaster. It's a new remaster. We went in, we found this hidden tape in a Brazilian archive. Um, damn it. Liquid death in your bubbles. We had to go to the salt mine in Hutchinson, Kansas to get the original copy, and we paid a dwarf to, winch it up. Or there's no process behind it. We uploaded a file to the movie theaters. The film was shot digital. We now dropped the file onto a computer and burned it to some discs, and we charge an insane amount of money. We're charging brand new game 70-hour campaign money for a movie to watch. I can't really support that. So I will probably just cancel that order and watch that crap on Disney Plus, where I'm going to have to go anyway to watch X-Men 97 because I am at least curious about that. And if you think that's the only culprit, Disney is saying, hey, you know what? The stuff that made us money has to make money for everything else. Oh, sure, nobody's going to buy a steel book of the Marvels, but Inside Out 2, it's going to be like a $70 steelbook. Like, why is this necessary, guys? They're just going after the collectors. How much money can we take from the collectors? That's the name of the game. Kawhi Calendar, as the movie Paris. I just love it when movies are see the same. I mean, maybe you can get some deleted scenes that we didn't see, but that Hawaiian calendar is English not the first language over here. Um, the movie Paris is, you mean like the Paris at midnight or something? What, the Woody Allen one with Owen Wilson? Wow, hey, wow, hey, it's Oscar Wilde over there, something like that. I can't tell if I was doing an Owen Wilson or a Jimmy Stewart. Oh, Mary, but yeah, we might want to. No, no, no one use text to chat. Sorry, dude. I use text to chat because I don't really have arms. Okay, that's cool. I meant movie Paris. There's a movie called Paris because I'm not familiar with it. Paris, Texas. I've seen that. That was on the Criterion Collection, which was on Hulu in 2017 when I watched it. A a collection that should be married to a service. I think in parts bounces and is somewhat loosely associated with HBO Max right now. No, I meant a movie, Paris, Paris. I watch a lot of movies. I'm a movie purist. I am not familiar with Paris, Paris. Ah, hell. Let's crank the phone down here and look for Paris, Paris. Isn't that a name of a hotel in Vegas with a knockoff Eiffel Tower? All right, I'm going to type in Paris, Paris movie here. I see Paris 2003. I recognize some names here. Yeah, hell yeah. It's got to have Ron Jeremy as a bartender. Is this what we're talking about with Bai Ling in it? It's from 2003. I am in parts curious. I do fancy a lot of those early millennium films. They have a certain look about them that you don't get today. Everything got highly digital. I will impromptu go in on The Substance, which I watched on Mubi. Um, last night, well, a day ago, I watched it as it came out. It came out at 2 a.m. on the 31st, so Halloween night. No, I'm a movie Paris. I'm a movie Paris. I watched a lot of movies you like, like collecting DVD. Okay, I understand. Okay. Um, you're a movie purist. You're not okay. You're a movie purist. You're not talking about a movie Paris. Okay, I got you. So you're using like a voice chat thing. Okay. The Substance from a French Broad. And this is a movie that is the final boss on body horror. I will say much of this again in a proper review, but stars Demi Moore as this girl, Elizabeth Sparkle. Now it sounds like a funny ass name, but the whole movie has a weird lower budget, highly digital bubblegum Barbie look about it. It's very much the aesthetic, but it is like Barbie meets The Shining and Beetlejuice in a way. It actually comes across as very gay. Not this is made to appeal to women, but it's like, did a gay guy write this and direct it? Is really the way it feels. Even though there is more ass shots in here than a suiting up of Val Kilmer's Batman, right? Well, Elizabeth Sparkle, she's like hitting over 50. She's looking old. She hosts a kind of hit meandering fitness show in the morning. And it's not going so well. She gets into a car wreck, which looks really damn good. This is one of the better in-car camera wrecks I've seen. And she is, oh, hey, you're lucky, not a scratch. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. But hold on, you may be a candidate. Well, a candidate for what? Here's some information. Put this hard drive, this USB drive into your TV, watch the video. And it's like very little realism is happening in this. So that's why I'm saying it's kind of like Beetlejuice. Okay. As a pitch, it is creepy and disturbing more than it is informative. Like, look at the like pitch video in uh don't what is it? Don't breathe. Don't the black people are being hunted by the white people. Uh don't blink. You know what I'm talking about, right? The Key and Peele guy. Look at the way that goes down. And it's like, hey, so this is the pitch, and we tell you all the information, and it's sunshines and grandpa's walking the kids, all that sort of stuff. Whereas this is just vague and creepy. You get vague and creepy over the phone. I don't know how she's supposed to understand how to use the substance. Stuff is clearly labeled in like impact font, but other than that, it's like substrate, extraction, this, food for the other one, or whatever. And essentially, she makes a double of herself. It's a better version of you, played by, oh gosh, what's the broad from the offspring of the chick from Four Weddings and a Funeral and Groundhog Day. And everything is a butt shot of her. And I don't even really think her butt was that amazing, but they sure wanted you to kind of. And she's going to have a fitness show instead in the timeline. Her name's Sue. Now, it's not like Demi Moore is transplanted into the body of the new broad, but rather a new broad came out of Demi Moore, and they have a bit of fighting between them. There is a balance that has to be maintained, and if you don't, one of them gets angry and starts torturing the other one by eating the fatty food, and then this one leaves her unconscious, but she gets the bad stabilizer, and it just spirals out of control, and it gets nuttier and nuttier. And part of the appeal is how nutty it gets and how bloody, and not even it gets bloody without the violence in a lot of ways. It's like just the body's breaking down bloody. The body horror in this is immense, but there are weird tells where you can see how cheap this is. And I think that the weird cheapness helps you understand that this is satire, whereas something like Titan looks more like a conventional movie and it wants to take itself seriously in ways or seem grounded in some kind of reality when it really isn't. And so it just seems like it can't pick a lane. This picks the crazy lane, the Barbie Beetlejuice The Shining lane, and it wants you to think of The Shining. It has weird ass carpet to look like The Shining's, not quite. And then there's going to be a ton of blood that gets all over the carpet. and it's supposed to get you to think subconsciously, wow, this is like The Shining. I like The Shining too. I must like this. I'm saying it was good, but there's a like I guess the climax of the movie takes place on New Year's Day, like a New Year's Eve host type thing. And the odd bit is we're going to host that in a movie theater. This is not a TV studio. There are not cameras being wheeled about. Um, grips, none of that. Producers holding cue cards, none of that. And you're going to host from just standing on the stage of a movie theater. And there are topless showgirls in this TV production, TV live stream. We have topless showgirls from Paris. I'm assuming we actually shot this in a Paris movie theater. And the French girl making this didn't know that that wouldn't be a thing that would fly on American TV because otherwise it's supposed to be in Los Angeles. And I feel like that was weird as shit. There's also another weird spot where we got this like shot of Sue walking to this Mustang, and they're like, "Hey, come on, party with us." She gets in the Mustang. It's a low angle shot. The door opens up, and she gets in. And she's seated in the back, behind the rear seats, like ass on the convertible cover. In order to pull that move, one jumps into the back. There are already a passenger in the front, someone riding in the back, and then her spot. So if you open the door, where was anyone going to go? There was no way in. You're better off jumping into the back. I don't know why they couldn't have banged that out instead. That when the Mustang like fires up some smoke from the exhaust, I think that's when we have an invisible edit. I know, weird shit that I would have done differently, but the final boss on body horror. So if you're looking for something weird, it is a movie exclusive, finding its buy movie, played in the theaters. I think made just under 50 million, considered a big hit. Well, I mean, a big hit. I think there was probably very little in the way of marketing, but the budget was like 17 million. But like I said, there's a weird cheapness about this that does not look like $17 million. Then again, we have to spend 200 million for a movie to look like a movie now. So, all right, I'm going to get to your comments here. I think X-Men 97 was a little bit woke, but the guy who wrote it was little over a fan of the original series, that he didn't go for the walk, but is on. I think that the guy who is listed as the creator, I would prefer that we say developed by, because let's not say he created the X-Men. The creator of X-Men 97, I think, is an alternative lifestyle dude and a minority. And he might have got handsy with, you know, like a PA, and they were going to kick him out because now you're bringing some pressure on us over here at Disney where we don't need that. I think that's what happened with him. And as such, he was shoved out the door. But I also think that he was a fan of the cartoon and tried not to go too woke with it. There was probably required wokeness. I've heard things about Morph, that there is a wokeness factor to Morph, but given that this is a character that, shapeshifts, it might be kind of tolerable for that to end up woke if we kind of think about it just a little. But yeah, I am curious about that. And so if I got a month of Disney Plus, it would be, I think on the 15th is when Deadpool and Wolverine comes out to Disney Plus, and I just get like ad free binge X-Men 97, Wolverine, and hell, if you want to drop some new Mandalorian, whatever, maybe, I don't know. With Barbie, I think the script with this from 2012, I mean 2013, and that's why I think the script for Barbie was so good. Have not seen Barbie. I would be surprised if I liked it. I'm hearing a lot of like it's going for the woke talking points. It doesn't strike me as a kind of movie that would have a strong follow-up. If we tried to do a sequel to it, people were like, we're going for the Barbie movie, but instead we got Lecture. And now they're going to be like, well, you can't do that to us twice, right? So I feel like it would have that Marvels type slide, if that makes sense. You give me Trump vibes, says Lewis R. Is it the good hair? How at least I don't give you Kamala vibes, right? A chick who has a wrestler murdered so that she can be the only Kamala and you have to pronounce it correctly. Yeah, I know what happened. I think the important thing is if you have any platform at all, is to not act like you have a platform. Hey, I'm a basketball player and people need to hear my voice. Okay, how'd you get famous? Well, by running into people and stiff arming them and making my son a basketball player. Oh, okay. Well, you must be really good at politics. Expunge on that, right? I'm knocking shit over. This is a Mountain Dew luggage key, whatever. If you develop a platform, don't abuse it. I like to go back to the 90s and be like, I recall like I saw some guy voting at my elementary school one day, and I think I asked like, "Who'd you vote for?" And like my dad slapped him upside the back of the head. You don't ask adults who they vote for. You don't tell people you voted for. I prefer the secrecy. That's the way it's got to be. So you could encourage people to vote, whatever that does. Sure, remind people that voting happens. I was watching Thursday Night Football last night, thinking, do we need the 2 minute warning? Because if we have the 2 minute warning and we don't have the technology to indicate that there's 2 minutes left in the game easily, okay, sure. Oh, I didn't realize we're running out of time with the ball. Now the quarterback's got a radio. Hell, multiple players are mic'd up. There's scoreboards all over the place. These guys know there's 2 minutes left. So why do we have the 2 minute warning? Have you watched Trump on Joe Rogan's podcast? I did. I listened to most of it, honestly. And new to here says, whoa, or yo, hey, new to here. So I made a mistake and I had to redo the stream. And that's why I was late in part. And in the process, everybody's allowed to chat. And the first people that used the chat, I thought they were actually channel members. But hey, joke's on me. Yeah, I saw the Joe Rogan podcast, and like I was saying earlier here, it feels like Donald Trump is the relatable guy. Like he's the one that has a sense of humor, and our poor unfortunate I was raised in middle class family broad is totally unrelatable. She is not coming across as relatable. So our weird he's just like Hitler is what the media is telling us is also the relatable guy, the funny one. That's the weird part here. There's supposed to be an uptight, stiff guy, and then the media tells you vote for the one that looks like you and is relatable and has the beer also and all these other things. And it is not working as all hell. They seem to have thought that we could Obama her when they should have Bidened her. They should have said, Kamala, stay in the basement, don't come out. Just simply say you're not Trump. That's all you got to do. You don't need to do any more interviews. We said that you won a debate and you can just walk away and we'll run the rest of it. But that is not working out the way that they wanted here by trying to get her, American public familiar with her because the more you learn about her, the less you like her. So they have done a horrible job with Kamala's campaign. Okay, what else we got here? Yo, I disagree. Disagree about what? Nothing wrong to be proud of who you voted for or to ask. No, don't ask people who they voted for. Don't tell people you voted for. Don't ask who you voted for. That's what Don't Ask, Don't Tell is all about. Kamala Harris refused to go on Joe Rogan podcast. It's funny that, okay, first of all, not a fan of Joe Rogan. I don't like his podcast. I understand the appeal of a 3 hour sit down interview, no edit, live to tape type situation. But he was never a good stand up comedian. He has no iconic bit. He is really just famous for volunteering with the UFC for a number of years until he was their guy. Oh, yeah, sure. It's a startup thing. Okay. Yeah. I can, hell, okay. So you're just going to give me I get a ticket and I get to watch the fights and I do the interview afterwards. And he got in early. Now the fear factor thing doesn't even matter. A lot of people know him from Fear Factor or news radio. That's irrelevant. What keeps him relevant is the close ties to the UFC. That's really it. And because of that, he's able to have this big podcast where they're going to at least feed him UFC stars, and that begets more and more attention. There is something good to his listening abilities, but I do think that he comes down as super aggressive to some people, especially if they're going to, say stuff behind his back beforehand, and then end up in a not good faith interview. Kamala Harris refuses to do his podcast. Joe Rogan doesn't realize that. He's not super smart. He thinks it's a scheduling issue. The scheduling is okay, well, we can only do an hour, but you'd have to come see us. She's just so busy. No, not true. She's not too busy for 50 million views. She isn't. But we're going to put him under these conditions that he won't agree to and say it was a scheduling issue. He doesn't realize that that is the campaign's way of saying no. So that's Joe Rogan for you. Do you know what it is, Pamela? I think assuming you're writing Kamala Harris here doesn't want to be herself. Can you write in English Hawaiian calendar? I'm trying to go about this like it's a Kodak thing. I don't know. She clearly was a new wave chick when she would look good, but they got her. But every time these guys want to pretend like they will. Okay. And I don't think they'll get that they seem the same thing with Obama's Obama New Wave guide. Why does he acting like he listens? She doesn't seem cool. And it wasn't P. Diddy he was acting like he was listening to, it's more like Jay-Z. He gets to be, hey, brother, and then have like the cool fist bump or the cool, this is the way the black guys high five. Kamala doesn't do anything. She's uptight. She does not answer questions. Well, we have to preserve the American dream for the people who have those dreams so that they themselves can preserve dreams. That's the way she answers everything. And people like the fact that Donald Trump does not come across as a politician still. He is so unpolished and he rambles in an off script way that actually helps him. So instead of being candidate platitudes out there, he goes out there and gives it to you real. It's a we cut Soleimani. He died like a dog. Like these are not the way we expect a president to talk, but it is still refreshing to have a non-politician. It's just weird to think that the actual uptight one is the cool one that gets the Beyonce to come by. And like all you got to do is just show the reel from like last year when she talked to the basketball team after losing the game. Oh, hey, Buffaloes, you made us so proud. You lost to Kansas. All you have to do is show that, and you can see how these people are just like, who is this broad? Why is she here? This is the men's locker room. Lady, get out of here. I don't care. We're not voting for you. You can see how unappealing she is. This is looking like not only does Trump win all the swing states, but he could get the popular vote. And if he does that, the Dems are going to have to pull the ripcord on that ace in the hole. They're going to say, well, he's actually Hitler and, well, he's an insurrectionist. Boom. Biden says, I'm making Kamala president. I'm preserving democracy. Get me up on Mount Rushmore. I made the first female president of the United States. Biden goes down in the history books as a top 5 president. And people will buy that narrative because it's not Joe Biden establishing himself as a dictator. It's the guy who stepped aside to put women up top, prop up the women of color. There's going to be so much narrative spin. Your grandkids won't believe the stories you tell them. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, it was Jay-Z he was hanging out with and all that. Wait, what about his Fear Factor appearances? People want someone that not an established politician. I'm in a kind of purple state. We have frequently in Kansas, we frequently have a Dem governor. And this bitch, she has ruined college sports in the state. She allowed Kansas basketball, football to get sequestered to ESPN Plus. Whereas Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12 got actual primetime games. They were allowed to be on TV. But nope, over here in Kansas, you have to go buy ESPN Plus if you want to watch your school. We're not even going to let you put it on terrestrial TV. Screw you guys. She legalized gambling after she got a bunch of money from it and cheated, a bunch of other people. And people don't realize this shit. People don't realize it. And if I bark about it and I tell you about it, no one cares because it's Kansas. And like they said in Diamonds Are Forever, Blofeld said you could nuke Kansas and people wouldn't figure it out for a year. The fear factor stuff doesn't matter. Fear factor is culturally irrelevant. He remained culturally relevant as UFC got become more and more increasingly popular. Essentially, the fighting sport de jour supplanting boxing in the US. If the UFC did not escalate things, Joe Rogan's not famous right now. He'd be struggling to get a Netflix special. People wouldn't really watch it. Hell, I watched his last Netflix special. It was okay at times, but he seemed like he was trying not to offend people. At one point, he talked about sitting Indian style, as one should call it, and called it crisscross applesauce. And it just didn't, the cadence to the whole joke, just like, oh, really? Yeah. But yeah, stand up specials are really hard. Netflix is scaling back on those. They were doing too many, and now they're making them more special by having less. Okay, calendar says what it is Trump runs like a diss. He talk like a diss, but he has a sort of New Deal Republican policies, and that's why New Deal is a Democrat thing. But why people like him, but he runs like it. He's like something from 1951. Lewis R. What about the Pretty Bog stand-up comedian? Do you like his Pretty Bog? Pretty Boy? Pretty I don't do you like his what about the Pretty Boy? Is that what you're trying to write? I don't Matt Rife. Oh, Christ. I think that I haven't seen much of him, but when I go places, people are like, "Are you like Matt Rife?" And I'm like, "No, I used to have better abs than that, but I don't now." But it's like everything I just slide into like a period of forgottenness in a way, like, "Oh, hey, be super fit before Instagram could make you popular for doing it." All right, the ability to review movies when it's no longer a thing, right? When reviews become irrelevant because people just go and get whatever media they want streaming anyway. It used to be, oh, hey, the review said save my money. Now it's like, oh, well, it's on Netflix anyway, might as well. So why do we watch a review? I think that he does. It's like he caught fire by uh, not crowd work so much, but like fighting off hecklers or something, or and crowd work. But then he has to like do his like special and be like, "Ha, you thought I could only do crowd work?" Mic drop, cheesy crap. Um, yeah, I and honestly, I don't check out a lot of comedians right now, and I stopped listening to Bill Burr's podcast a few months ago, and I was a listener of that from like 2013 to a few months ago because I just felt like I would end up subconsciously stealing material or bits or anything from anybody and not realize I heard it somewhere. So I've been trying to avoid that so I can be more original. If anyone should care, I woke up at 6 a.m. with a headache, but in the process, had a dream that gave me a really good idea for a bit about cloning. So I do have a new stand-up bit, and I have had a tough time in the last couple of years getting recordings of my stand-up done. So yeah, if even if I do perform this, I may not be able to get a recording up on YouTube. So, but generally, I like having the recording for two reasons: one, to kind of critique myself, and two, to be like Tiffany Haddish stole my routine. For safeguarding. Joe Rogan only had one good joke, and it was to describe Brock Lesnar as a gay rapist. He also, I think, in the comedy circles, has a lot of goodwill for the mothership and exposing Carlos Mencina. So he gets a lot of goodwill for standing up for a comedian whose jokes were stolen by Mencia. And then the mothership as a platform. So as a comedian, you don't want to step on the guy that is the biggest podcaster who also has a comedy club. Oh, you can't say anything bad about him or you won't get to play his joint. And shit, I feel like even if I showed up there and I did a bit or whatever, he would try to get all intimidating, because he's short and angry and knows how to choke a guy out. So, I mean, go ahead and then get sued, right? So, whatever. His looks got him far in his comedy career. You're talking about Pretty Boy Matt Rife, yeah. It's weird that about a year ago, I think Matt Rife had a movie come out and no one saw it, and it didn't even really get a release. Like it's a straight to streaming, like buried on a platform somewhere type thing. As I have said previously here, or I think I've said in a live stream, and I do intend to do a short on this. Is hold on here, had my watch in the shower here. We got to get that water thing off. The comedy voice of our time is Drewski. Uh, he might be secretly genius in like the wrong way because he knows he would get exposed if he did a movie or if he did a comedy special, comedy sets, right? But in his world of reactions, everybody loves to post the black guy overreacting gifs. Black guy makes a face. And then everything gets over on Twitter and all this stuff because that's honestly, digital blackface is such a thing. When people post these reactions, look how many of them are black. Drewski knows he would get exposed if he went anywhere near the old route. Oh, you want to be a star? Have a series, have a movie. Drewski would get exposed. So he doesn't do it. He just stays in his lane, still gets to do commercials and stuff. He doesn't have to go away because he never got to expose himself like Matt Rife or Pauly Shore or anything like that. And then he doesn't have to fall in the hard times. He just keeps working what his angle is, right? And he keeps appealing to the millennials, the Zoomers, and as I'm calling them, the a-holes. Yeah, Generation Alpha, screw that. It's a-holes. It a-holes. Get it below, guys. Actually, let's run a poll. How do we do a poll here? Okay, let's see. Engage your audience with this. Start a poll. Alpha or a-hole? Oh, come on. It's supposed to be in caps. It's not supposed to be an equal sign. There we go. Alpha or a-holes. Let me know what you guys think about that. Yeah, so I just kind of explained to you how the comedy scene works. No one cares, 4 people watched. I'm not getting super tips, no new members. Yeah, that's kind of just the way I like to do things. Or you could hear a bunch of circle talk from some hot chick who gets scared playing Resident Evil 4, right? Like, I mean, it's like, how do I have so much talent and it goes, it's not wasted, it's like super unappreciated, right? Like, I can tell you how everything works, and then people are just like, oh, that's cool. Like, okay. He looks like got him farm comedy. He does a lot of crowd work. That's kind of what I thought. Crowd work is frowned upon in the comedy circuit scene. If your opener does crowd work, now the comedian goes up there and and they may have a highly refined bit, a whole set that doesn't involve the crowd interacting, and now the crowd is geared to shout stuff back and have comments. And so you're never one of the rules is to not do any crowd work when you're opening. That's one of the rules. So Kawhi Calendar, yeah, I think in today's what comedy was up with the wall comedians or the media comedians that aren't like Lotto Crowder. Bill Burr was the worst comedian ever heard. I think Bill Burr is really good. Steven Crowder, I haven't heard his stand up, but I would think that his crowd is there because, wow, he says the politics I relate to. So I'm going to applaud for him and give him money and then convince myself he's funny. And that's the trap you run into when you have a lot of like former movie stars who are now doing a comedy thing. Like, had a chance to go see Adam Sandler, who's not a stand up comedian, but because he's between Sony projects and Netflix crap, he's free to do a comedy tour. So what's he gonna do? Sing some songs, have a happy Hanukkah, whatever, tell you stories about Saturday Night Live, like, it's sort of like we know that the movies are not paying money anymore, but here's a way we can still be, "Hey, I'm a star, come see me, spend some money." Sylvester Stallone does that, like, Evening with Stallone, and it just seems so bad to be like, you're paying extra money to get, like, a photo and a handshake. I couldn't possibly charge people for something like that. And if you did and you have a net worth of $600 million like Sly, why is this not donated to charity? Shouldn't that be the case? Like, the celebrities shouldn't have to stoop to this sort of stuff that can, like, almost like personalized convention scene, but instead it's like, oh, well, Sloane's getting so old, you don't know how much longer. It's a chance to see him, right? Steven Crowder is a comedian. Seriously, he fancies himself a comedian. I think he might have been mislabeled as like a Christian comic, and uh, it's almost like if you do one church or one Christian comic show, now you're a Christian comic, or you can get labeled as such. So I don't know what the whole thing is with that, but he what's the best thing he's got going? His meme where he's changed my mind, right? And then you kind of like fill it in with whatever. Rising star Penny Hardaway is better than Derrick Rose, change my mind, things like that. All right, we like to go about an hour and a half here, guys. So we've got, maybe about 26 more minutes here. Has changed your mind on any? I don't even think that the plan is to change your mind. People watch or rather listen to these like conservative grift podcasts to have their like opinions reinforced. Hey, you want to hear the news that agrees with your point of view? Make sure you subscribe to the Daily Wire, where things are going to be sourced straight from the Daily Wire. Okay, sure, right. And that's the way things are now. It's like we can't. The trouble is the newspapers and the TV, the national TV news, have been exposed as outright lying to you. So now you can't trust them. So now you actually do have to pay for your news. But what you end up kind of getting is just go to Twitter or see something on YouTube. Twitter will then redirect you to the YouTube video, something like that, rather than, oh, well, if you paid, you'd get like the same thing, but Ben Shapiro would tell you, and then he'll tell you how you're supposed to think about the story rather than the way the news used to operate, where it's like, here's some facts, make up your own mind. Now they label things, um, listen for the way they talk about the January 6th people jailed for that. If they call them insurrectionists or if they say people jailed from the January 6th riot, riot would be the more politically correct middle good reporting term. Insurrectionist is the loaded term. So listen for that sort of stuff. Do you know of Blonde in the Belly of the Beast? Blonde in the Belly of the Beast. No, I haven't heard of her. Sounds like Tommy Lahren. Is it Lahren? Yeah. Sometimes Tommy Lahren's podcast gets put on when I'm listening to other stuff and I fall asleep to podcasts. It's a bad habit I've been doing for like 2 years. And then like it'll end up on what, Worst Best Friends with one of these guys, the Asian from it's like podcasts I never clicked on purpose, but they would be the ones that come up. The Asian guy who was on Mad TV for a number of years. I don't know. Not a Tommy Lahren knockoff. All right, so I have to type in blonde in the belly of the beast. Is that what I'm gonna have to do here? All right, we're doing a search. Blonde in the belly blonde in the belly of the beast, rationalwiki.org. She looks super pale, if I'm not wrong. She looks pale and possibly older, like encroaching on 40 or something. And there she is with that Chrissy Mayer, one of the right wing griftettes, right? I don't put much stake in and just because this is a Seattle Sonics jersey doesn't mean I'm in Seattle or anything, but I just kind of think it's funny that's Kevin Durant jersey and he was like the last star of the Sonics, but at any rate, I don't put much stock in anybody doing the this is our show and it's going to be from this perspective because what it ends up being is we have to find a way to defend our guy and then tell you theirs is the bad one instead of anything being reported objectivity. So she used to live in Seattle. Every once in a while, somebody doing that kind of thing gets like canceled in some way. There was and it could just be because they were looking for dirt on them, like Lauren Chen finding out that she's getting money from Russia, which shouldn't really be that big of a problem because we're not officially at war with Russia. So we can't act like she's working for the enemy. Except when it's convenient, we act like one side is working for the enemy. But if it was going the other direction, it wouldn't be like that. Charlie Kirk, don't like him. I have issues with him because first of all, he wants to do that own the libs thing like Ben Shapiro. Look at the ads you get shown for Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro stuff, and it's always like, how impressed can you possibly be that this asshat is arguing with college students? Oh, he really showed them. He's there to own the libs. Look at that sit down thing he did where he was doing like the change my mind type thing. And it was Charlie Kirk and Vivek Ramaswamy. And Vivek wanted to be calm, rational, understanding, and tried to change minds. Whereas Charlie Kirk is trying to get that soundbite for his next commercial. And Turning Point USA, what a damn grift. What is the point of that? You pay us an ass ton of money to show up at your college so that there can be some kind of fuss, some kind of security issue, so that we can elevate our platform by, oh, we got all these death threats and violence. If it wasn't for death threats against Ben Shapiro, you guys wouldn't know who he is because that's the big thing that gets him in the news, right? That's the catalyst. Death. Oh, Ben Shapiro and death threats, and they threw garbage cans at windows and stuff because they won't let this poor little quaint Jew guy speak. Oh my God, it's a free speech issue. How about nobody should get to speak? When it's all about exuberant speaking fees, you got to pay me like 70,000 bucks so I can show up at your college and cause a fuss. But it's the cool thing to do. Yeah. Look at how much money Candace Owens gets for like a Skype chat. It's insane. And it is not a her time is so valuable type of bullshit either. There's a lot of money coming to these people and they take it, man. They found a business, a for-profit business that just takes donations. So yeah, losers. Did you ever like Milo Yiannopoulos back in the day? Nah. Another guy trying to be cringe and say the things that will get the headlines, but I think he might have went too far to where it wasn't sincere anymore, and so he's been out of the scene. What for 4 years or something? Really haven't been hearing about him. Wait, I thought you were conservative like them. The thing is, you don't want anybody knowing how you vote. It's like being the Joker, right? It's about sending a message. You thought I was going to take the money? No, I'm burning it. These people who just say the things you want to hear, so then you give them money, it's like they're operating a cult rather than being informative. It's a bunch of bullshit. So largely, I mean, I would rather just review movies and games, but there's been so much uh, wokeness injected in them that nothing is safe. All entertainment now, and you look back at movies from 20 years ago, and you just think how refreshing it is that even the bad ones are not woke at all. Just hey, that's a dumb big monster movie attacking a cruise ship, but you know what? Nothing woke is happening. And it's just so much more refreshing than the garbage we get now, even what's considered good. Because now everything is about, hey, we have to remind you of a movie you like so that we can elevate ours. And let's have some inside humor, fourth wall break, because that's an easier way to tell a joke. Everything is referential to other films for other reasons. We have to get our talking points in, all this garbage, right? We make one movie for everybody, and therefore we have since that's the movie we're going to go see, we have to throw in the woke stuff because they're part of the audience is going to like that, said the bean counters. Charlie Kirk is controlled opposition. Even Tucker Carlson called him out. I'm unaware of that. Don't care for Tucker Carlson. He seems very self-important, not necessarily disingenuous, but to say that you're like super popular because of your X views when people scrolling by and kind of being forced to give you a view counts as a view. If YouTube worked that way, I wouldn't have any of the problems I do now. Because think about, I'd have like 1,000 times more views, right? But over here, people actually have to sit and watch and stuff. But we get to what Elon Musk has kind of done with Tucker Carlson is have his mouthpiece where it's like, well, as long as you're going to say the things we want you to say, you're going to be the guy on our platform. And as the guy, all of your videos are going to get recommended, and we're going to tout that as super popular. Okay. How come other creators on your platform don't get the same treatment, even when giving more effort? Because it's a favoritism thing. And with Tucker Carlson, he's making the stuff there, not because he's like a YouTuber striking out on his own. It's because he has a deal with X. Imagine if Steven Crowder only made YouTube videos because YouTube had a contract with him. That's the type of situation Elon Musk is running over there. So even the good guys are also kind of on the evil side, right? They're still working to keep certain people down. And if both sides are playing loaded games like this, then, can you really be that big of a fan of either? All right, we've got about 15 more minutes, guys. Eric is here. Yo, Eric, you were going to get a membership and then you didn't. I did make a mistake here and accidentally turned all the chats on because I had to restart the stream controls because it didn't want to do the camera thing. So I had to make a new stream and then forgot to set this so that only members could chat. Okay, she debated the issue on Rubin Report against Blair White, where Candace turned it into a mudslinging contest. So you're saying that she is the Blondie in the cliff or something, or Blondie in the belly of the beast, right? I never vote anymore. Carlin was right. It's pointless. As I said at the top of the stream here, I'm probably going to repackage as a video tomorrow or something. I wish I had the better lighting going because I changed my light after the big spiel. The Dems are going to find a way to rig this election by not rigging the election. They don't need to stuff the ballots anymore. Let Trump win. Let Trump win the electoral college. Hell, let him win the popular vote. Then, when it comes time, say, oh, by the way, Trump was never eligible to become president because 14th Amendment, he's an insurrectionist. Biden, who bravely stepped aside so he can elevate women of color, will anoint democratically Kamala Harris as the new president of the United States and get his face on Mount Rushmore as a super important president. And in the history books, this guy, he had the wherewithal to step aside, to know that history needed him, all this sort of stuff. He'll be a champion of women. When Donald Trump wants to not ratify the election, he's a dictator. But because Joe Biden isn't on the ticket, wow, he saved democracy. That is how the election's going to play out. Not even needing to worry about the voting stuff. That pesky voting stuff's antiquated. Yeah. Vaughn, who did you piss off? It seemed like just about everybody. You would have had more members if you didn't poke at all those YouTubers when you were jogging. The thing is, I kind of do the membership thing ironically because I'm like, what? But also, there is something to this. People care about the YouTube channels that they pay. Like if I don't look, that's my problem. Because you guys aren't paying me, you're not out there telling all your family members they have to pay me and watch also. Ben Shapiro has people paying him. So he has his own little cult going, and so does Crowder and all these other idiots. And if you don't have a cult, you don't get anywhere. You can't keep the lights on. As unfortunate as it is, you have to have a cult. So now I'm the guy pulling the carpet back and showing you that there's a cult or whatever, but also going, you know what, may as well have a cult too. It's unfortunate it has to be that way. If you don't have a cult, YouTube will not recommend or suggest any of your stuff. For the last month, every video I've had to do some kind of YouTube promotion thing for, I've gained like 4,000 subs, but they're bots and they're liking content just to keep the people happy that pay for the promotion content on YouTube. And they're like, wow, hey, I got 1,000 new subs today. Wow, hey, all these likes. Look at the views. They're not real. It's stuff YouTube's cooked up, and they'll act like it's real enough. Hey, if you're going to pay for views or pay for subs or likes, do it through us, and it's above the board. But if you go the Lori Laughlin way, right, and you pay somebody else to get your kids into the college instead of giving the college the money directly for the new library, then you're in trouble. Then you can get your channel taken down. But this is perfectly normal. And now I'm stuck in a process where I have to spend like $5 on a video just to save face so that it doesn't look like it's being totally ignored by my supposed viewers who, mind you, I've got like 2,000 people ring the damn bell. Should be notified. Don't watch anything again. So everything sucks ass. I feel so often like I'm, wasting my time here. And what good is it for one guy who is ignored and essentially blacklisted or shadow banned or whatever to tell you how things are and how corrupt everything is, right? So yes, in part the community thing is the channel membership thing is like a anti-channel membership. I do like to fancy myself as the consumer advocate who is telling you how all these guys are stealing from you and manipulating you. But then it also turns out like I can't even do that without also getting some kind of money. So shit's sake. Okay, what else do we have here? Yeah. A president can actually do that. Wouldn't that make him an evil dictator? Like I said, Joe Biden, not on the ticket. So he's not a dictator. Trump does it. He's on the ticket. He's a dictator. Joe Biden does it and he saves democracy. So that's the way that works. Yeah, but Shapiro reads, oh my God, the ads in the middle of shit. And he's so terrible at it. Oh, and they want you dead. But you know who else wants you dead? Blinds galore. Oh, shit's sake. He used to go, but first, and then you'd know hit skip 4 times for that minute, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, get a full minute, and just use my promo code Ben Shapiro one. Ben, that's Ben at what an ass. I am never stooping to that shit. God. Have the ad up front, like right after the cold opening. You have the title card. Hey, so but before we get started, I want to give a quick mention to my buddies, whatever. And don't just lame ass ad, but here's a product I like that isn't necessarily paying me, but I do get a kickback if you use the promo code. Win for everybody scenario. That's better. Instead, Ben Shapiro, hey, you want to be a Scottish lord? Well, let me tell you about these lord entitlement things that aren't real. It's a complete scam, but yep, they paid me money to say this. What a dick. Yeah, Eric, you said that you would become a member and then you didn't. So There is that, right? Hey, I'm gonna get as soon as I get paid. Did you get paid in October, Eric? Come on, it's $2.99 a month. That's as cheap as I could go. I tried to get some gifts you guys could use, but it seems like there's a problem and the gifts don't really work. Like, tell me if this is animated. It's supposed to be Leonardo DiCaprio. He's like spotted something. That, but it doesn't look like it's doing anything. There are only a few political positions remaining mainstream conservatism, which is soft leftism or libertarian or communist or ethno nationalist and possibly monarchist. You still doing I was doing some when school was starting up because they wanted someone that could talk to uh the teachers and get them like kind of excited for the new year. And now I've got people wanting me for Christmas parties, but they don't know what they want. Hey, we want some live entertainment. You want a DJ, you want a band, you want something you can kind of ignore and talk about things and eat cake. And then one guy's like, hey, we want to do like a Family Feud game night. That requires quite a bit of setup. And to do a Christmas themed Family Feud, I don't even know if that's possible because you can only Family Feud that which has had surveys answered. You can't make the questions up on the fly because then 100 people surveyed, they said that's a big part of Family Feud. So there are people who will run a Family Feud game on like Skype and they want some big ass dough. Would you pay? Hey, we got a fun teleconference. We want to have a $700 game of Family Feud for liven up the teleconference season. Like, come on. I don't It's not really worth it, right? So yeah, people are wanting like some weird things. Everybody wants 2 hours of stand-up comedy. You can't keep people engaged that long who have also been drinking and shit by yourself without being super famous. They will do 2 hours of Joe Rogan because they were told he's famous. Otherwise, it's like, what do I know you from? Why am I here? We're just going to talk over you. So yeah, it's pretty hard to go more than an hour and keep things going because you do get to a breaking point where okay, I've had my fill of laughing. Now I have other things in my mind. It's kind of how that works out. I'm still getting in. I'm still getting in, brother. I'm watching my niece right now sob. It's difficult. What were you trying to do, like a cry emoji thing right there with the tears? My comment didn't initiate the conversation I thought it would. New to here said, well, I wasn't really sure what to say there. Who are these people? Who is going for monarchy? Is there a podcaster proclaiming there should be a monarchy in the US? Because I'm unfamiliar with this. Yeah, I mean, Christ. I know I don't want to listen to Bill Burr because I don't want to end up stealing any jokes. But then I am somewhat compelled to check in on Ben Shapiro just to save and analyze the parts where it appears as though he is directing his viewers down like a loaded argument path. And like he also says things and it's very difficult to pick up on in real time if you're not listening for it, where things come across as oddly condescending and he doesn't even realize it. I've mentioned before, he will make fun of people's credentials for going to some college. Then he will also ad read for some college you haven't heard about. Oh, it's a good Christian college, blah, blah, blah. I'd go there, except I'm not Christian. Okay, blah, blah. But then in the same like breath, he will talk about how he's smart because he went to Harvard. So this person's dumb. She went to Mississippi State, but me, I went to Harvard. And then in another podcast, when it's convenient, be like, oh yeah, actually the Harvard education, everybody lies to you. They try to make you liberal. It's not worth it all at all. But I'm super smart because I went to Harvard. So which is it, Ben? Right? And to catch him on all his lies, I've lost track of what I've done with the videos I've saved about that. I try to bring it up on Twitter when possible. falls on deaf ears because I don't have cultists to retweet, and adhere to my every word, right? So it's kind of the name of the game. Do you have a cult? If not, you're screwed. Vaughn went after Crowder pre-divorce before he fell off. I wouldn't have done that until the pile-on. Yeah, I mean, I that's the tricky part, being ahead of the curve. Like I made the Sticks video, what, like a week or two before he decided to allegedly hit a woman and go to prison for a weekend. But I'm the bad guy because I made a video calling him out as like a disingenuous douche before he hits the woman. So I'm the bad guy there, and now everything's invalid or something. The Crowder stuff, the the divorce thing, and let's see, what's the timeline with him? The divorce is before the divorce was the uncoupling with the Daily Wire, right? Like they didn't want to. Crowder aired the dirty laundry, like the phone call that was supposed to be in good faith, um, private, but he aired the phone call of the breakdown of their terms of some kind of merger. Weird shit, right? And how does the mug club work? Do you get a new mug every year? And why stick with mug club? Is that really informative to what you do? You almost if you're part of the mug club, you almost expect like a new club, like mug a month, right? It's weird. Daily Wire, at least they didn't call theirs like Liberal Tears Plus or Liberal Tears Tumblr, right? Like name your service after the product you give people as the freebie type thing. Like shit, if Disney Channel was customized drinkware, and it's like, well, okay, if you sign up, you get customized drinkware, like supporting PBS, right? Weird shit. Yeah. See, I'm like ahead of the game on all this stuff. I tell you, I see the flaws in these guys' armor, and then they have their downfall. And then you have the usual pile on crowd, the guys who just all they do is gossip all the time because it's easier to gossip and speculate. And then they can just gossip about KK having fallout over there at Disney. Could KK be in trouble with Lucasfilm? Is she on the way out? More gossip. My sources inside tell me that you have to sign up for my Overlord Doomcock club cult. What? And it's like I just make up shit and say my sources deep inside. Those guys have it so much easier than one guy paying to play games, beat them in a decent amount of time, and then give you a review for it. But it's going to be ignored unless I put sucks in the title. So I'm actually way better off as soon as the game comes out, playing the demo, telling you it sucks, doing it in like a bad comedic way that can. And by the way, I kind of my Hollow Knight review actually created shit, what's it called? Troll something, trigger bait or troll bait, trigger bait, something like that. Because it's like, oh, I'm just going to make the a base mad, and then reap the comments for that. And the algorithm will say comments. This video needs to be suggested more. It's got all this engagement. The algorithm doesn't care if the engagement's positive or not. It says engagement. This needs to be seen. Oh, well, it's a middle of the road interview. This thing was good, or interview, I mean review. Thing was good. It didn't trigger a reaction out of people. Screw this guy for being honest. That's the algorithm at work. And if you tell Google that it's flawed, they're like, our algorithm's flawless. So I don't know how you could possibly say that. You must be a Trump supporter or some shit, right? So yeah, everything has to suck or be the greatest thing of all time. And there's no middle road. So there is no path forward in reviewing. It is too much of a money suck, time suck to acquire the media, earnestly view, play, and review all on your own. That used to be the way a gaming channel or a movie channel would work on YouTube. Now a movie channel is just pile on speculation, and a gaming channel is let's point out the woke stuff in a game coming out, but also we're going to have some kind of issue with it. Speculate, whatever. Oh, could this be in Grand Theft Auto 6? Like shit's sake. You are a libertarian or a constitutionalist or an anarchist. I don't think you are religious, not religious. You should do what that Polycorn Planet guy did before he was fired from Screen Junkies. That's a name I haven't heard since. He is doing fine, not as good as Screen Junkies, but good. Andy Signor, don't know him. Drama content, so to speak. Yep. The anti-woke movie review guys are losing steam now. People just want to hear about the good films or love of great films now. The trouble with there is places for some of us. Like, look, ESPN, TNT, anybody showing NBA games cannot say a bad word about LeBron James. They are in the Clutch Sports pocket. It really does fall on the responsibility of some YouTubers to break down the film and tell you honestly what happened. Because even in real time, the guys announcing the game, LeBron James, he deserves MVP. He's the catalyst for the offense in the Olympics. Him being there is such a presence. He's the one that got them here. Like all this shit, right? They're in his pocket. They can't say anything bad. So the people keeping it real are the few, the proud, the Marines on YouTube. They also, unfortunately, when there's not a real story, they have to just revisit the same stuff. LeBron James, once again, back with his kid doesn't belong here. Not any new clips to show, but we're just going to bring up the point again because we have to have new content so that we can have the ad revenue. If we don't post anything new, financial troubles. So you end up with a lot of the same clips used again. There's a guy, Scap Attack, big time LeBron James grifter. I would put him as a LeBron James grifter he's an anti LeBron James grifter. There are guys like Uncut Hoops breaking down new stuff, seemingly more relevant. Oh God. Shit. The guy with the afro who talks way too close to his mic and he talks like he doesn't want to be very loud because he might wake up his parents upstairs. Shit, what's it? Angry Old Hoops fan. He is leaning a little more towards the anti-LeBron grift because it does seem as though he realizes he has to have the anti-LeBron content or he falls off. So the unfortunate thing is you can't have a channel now where you just review any new game, any new movie, and you keep it going. Because those middling reactions of 2.5 star out of 4 movie, 7 out of 10 game, they don't make people angry enough to comment or to reinforce or to buy into what you're saying enough to pay you. And YouTube says, well, this isn't being interacted with. Screw him, shadow ban. We got to get stuff that's being interacted with. So bottom line, there's no room for honesty on this platform or anywhere else. Like I told you, saving free speech means you have to pay what's he want, like $160 a year to be unshadow banned over on X so that people might see your comments, but they're probably OnlyFans bots trying to hitch on to a trending reply of some kind so that they can pitch their content, right? Even say something deceptive so you think, oh, hey, she's a gamer, and then it's just check out my links below, right? You damn sure, and it's been a while since I've watched ESPN, but I know, even as a cable cutter, seeing the stuff that the watchdogs in the basketball media will show you on YouTube, that you can't trust the shit that's being said on ESPN. It is angled for sure. Okay, the moment James is retired, the better the NBA will be. They need a new guide that is more middle of the road. At the very least, with LeBron James out of the picture, you will stop the daily LeBron James versus Michael Jordan debate. Who do you got? The only reason LeBron James is in that conversation is because he's a current guy they can talk about right now. If he's not currently playing, you don't have to have this talk. Instead, you need to talk about the development of Wembanyama and where does he rank among potentially, is he better than Shaq? Like that might be the kind of talk, right? By the way, Shaq is a fringe top five center. So there's that. Shaq, very overrated game. Shaq, glaring weaknesses. So he can't be that good, right? Not saying he needs to be Tim Duncan, who didn't have a pulse, but be Jordan or Magic. You're talking about the next guy up. Those two guys cared more about the game than how the media feels about the about thing right now. Yeah, they have to stop falling for the Coney 2012. It's such a big deal. Wah wah until it isn't. Yeah, like LeBron James. Let's cancel a game because some black guy turns out he was a thug and he beat up a woman or whatever. He got shot by the police. He was going to stab. But until we heard that much, we're all in supporting him. Okay, maybe we'll walk away from that. Forget that happened so much. Hey, ESPN, can you not bring that up when you're talking about my greatness? Cool. You're on the Clutch list, right? You're a part of Clutch Sports. All right, cool. That's really the way it goes. I don't think that the next face of the NBA is going to be American. We're about to have a very international NBA that the people in the US that are paying the tickets to go see won't necessarily relate to. Weirdly enough, it is the soft American players who have ruined the sport. LeBron James, man, got a really loud train over there. You're probably hearing. LeBron James, I plan to play every game this season, all 82. Well, people, his idiot fans are like, oh, what was Jordan doing at age 40? I'll tell you what he's doing. He's actually playing the full season because Michael Jordan knew that games were not cheap then, and kids saved up their money and they wanted to see Michael Jordan. He gave them, hey, I'm still Michael Jordan. You got to see Michael Jordan. You get to say you saw Michael Jordan. There you go. LeBron James fans, do you ever see him play? Maybe you have to go to a damn Lakers game to get that done, right? I was watching Uncut Hoops was showing off how LeBron James doesn't rebound. The situation is set up now where all the teams are just sitting back jacking up threes, which allows LeBron James and his circle of buddies to kind of like circle, and no one is trying for an offensive rebound. So someone takes a shot. Now the Lakers circle the basket, and LeBron James gets that easy +1 rebound. Got to get that for the stat line so that even if he doesn't score 30, it still looks like he's doing something. There is a completely different set of rules for LeBron James right now. Straight up seeing him stiff arm guys, travel, doing whatever else. It is so much more beneficial to his stupid stat padding than rather than play defense, just be that guy who gets the assumed rebound because no one on the other team is allowed to go for that offensive rebound. No one on the Lakers is allowed to grab the trash easy rebound that was uncontested. That's a LeBron James thing. And LeBron James can pass the ball, and then the guy he passes to. Somehow, miraculously, LeBron James gets credit for an assist. He's the catalyst who makes the whole. Look at all the rebounds and assists he gets. Christ, uh, they have made the NBA regular season so unwatchable, and the players are saying as much by sitting out. They're saying, you know what, 82 games, it's damn too many. We got to load manage. We don't want to play all these back to backs. What do you think we are, athletes or some shit? So, if you guys don't care about the regular season, why should we? And we are going to see a huge ass fall off continue in NBA viewership. It is going to only get worse for them. We're going to end up, even with asshats like LeBron James out of the league, we're going to run out of homegrown stars to kind of care about. And it's going to be guys who don't speak much English, aren't that marketable even. And maybe we won't have a narrative to spin them as the greatest of all time to draw in eyes. It's going to be a complete shit show for the NBA. And it is so justified. No other sport league got up and said, let's be woke quicker than the NBA. Oh, you want to go chastise a guy taking a knee in the NFL? Screw that. Let's get Black Lives Matter all over the court. So they will jump on whatever. Hey, there's a controversy we can get involved in. Like we're experts. Like people want to hear this shit. Let's devalue our games. Have players not care. They kind of sort of care in the playoffs. That's about the only time you can watch basketball because the playoff games, these guys have something at stake. But now they make too much money. Everything they do is a business decision. Shit. I, it's no surprise that they just let LeBron James do stuff. The guys are pretty much paid to take these falls. Yeah, LeBron James got to get his points, whatever. Oh boy. It's going to revert back to like pre-magic, 70s sort of stuff. You know what? You're so right with that because hold on here, I'll read what you said before that. Jordan had the same thing too, though. He would get BS fouls, but because it's not nearly the same thing. Jordan would get he would get like his special whistle, so in a way, but it is not to the egregious nature that LeBron James continues to receive the help from the refs, where it's like blatantly travel, but let's just not blow a whistle. You can shove guys, not totally not the same thing. Pre 70s is a good way to put this because they're going to go away from the cable model. TNT's losing their deal, and then it's going to go to streaming. So you're going to be sequestered to a streaming platform, and we'll see really how much people care. I wonder if Netflix is going to do well with WWE having a live show. I think it's Monday Night Raw streaming on Netflix. But then the like WWE archive stuff, essentially the WWE channel is on Peacock. If you don't move all that to Netflix, it doesn't quite feel the same. But Netflix is so behind in the live sports. I don't understand why they're just now doing it. They should have been doing this 5, maybe even 10 years back, live stuff. That would have been the big game changer. They had the popularity and the platform to have done it then. I don't know why the hell they drag their feet on stuff so that they can make woke content that no one cares about. The wrestling thing will be interesting because it is a way to suck up minutes streamed with very low effort. Poor story writing, very little happening. All you do is hype up the premium live event. All you do is say, oh, yeah, well, why don't we have a match at WrestleMania 9 months from now? Like shit like that. The stars don't wrestle. There will be some kind of stupid angle thing that happens, but no real wrestling matches on Monday Night Raw. When there was actual competition, AEW, not competition. When WCW was cooking with Nitro, titles changed on Monday nights. Big shit went down over on Raw. They were pulling everything they could to try to make things happen. Now they coast. And how can we just let's set that up for Crown Jewel. Let's set this up for Money in the Bank. I'll see you at SummerSlam. It's like that's all they do. I don't know how you guys can keep putting up with that stuff. By the way, I mentioned that I'd have like this Ben Shapiro podcaster character in WWE. I think that'd be a really compelling character. And he like interferes, like cuts in on other guys' promos and fact checks them live. But when he comes to the ring, he would have Stone Cold's ring entrance music to trick the audience into thinking Stone Cold was coming there, which would get him so much heat. Yeah, I'm way too smart to be working for the WWE. That's for sure. I mean, we're talking about generational heel shit. So, are you a libertarian or conservative? I don't believe in labels. I'm a free agent. Don't call me a millennial either, man, or Gen X. I don't have friends purposely, so I can't be swayed. Vince McMahon might be back. I saw about that. He had wanted to be a movie producer, just like Ben Shapiro, and all he made was garbage. So it's not gonna be called WWE, but what do they call it? Like Titan, maybe? Is he on the Titans thing still? Officially it's Titan Sports, right? Or is there some way to incorporate something or McMahon Films? I don't know. Something dumb, right? Uh, starting a Ring of Honor like show, crazy timeline. I hadn't heard of him doing a wrestling show, but more of like it looked like he wanted to get into films again in some capacity as like a movie producer. Monday Night Wars was glorious. They were throwing everything out there. And then when it was over, that was, oh shit. When it subsided, that was really the time to check out on the wrestling. It's never gotten back there. They will tell you otherwise. Oh, everybody's making money. We're making more money than ever because the competition's not there, and these TV networks have to have something live. They can't just have nothing on but reruns. Then they will be completely out of money. But by the next election cycle, the conventional media will be even less popular than it is now, and we won't even have the debates on like the regular television networks. So I got this new Sony Bravia 8 TV, and it's got this next gen tuner that it has the capability to receive like a 4K HDR signal. But it's almost like if you think about it, we'll never get to having those kind of signals because there won't be enough audience in the over the air TV to justify going that far. It's like satellite radio. We already were cooking with the internet, and people have mobile phones with internet and shit. So why would you need Sirius XM? And that's kind of where satellite radio is now. Sort of like this. Well, it's a thing still. Direct TV, same situation. They actually bought Dish Network. They had a merger. They bought Dish Network for $1, had a merger. At in the 90s, oh, well, that's a monopoly on the satellite TV. You can't do that. Nowadays, it's like no one cares. There's hardly a monopoly in TV, cable TV, or whatever. Do whatever you want. No one. There's not enough people there for it to be deemed a monopoly. So, though we have these next generation tuners that have 4K HDR capabilities, we'll never get that signal because people will just watch stuff streaming online. Marvel and DC dorks kind of did a Monday Night War too. Really entertaining. But yeah, all that comic book stuff was everything is in the video games too. It's all cooler when it's niche and you didn't want girls knowing about it because you might get made fun of and they won't talk to you. That's when you want to collect Pokemon. That's when you want to play Vampire Savior. That's when you want to read X-Men. Now, when the shit's mainstream, they just, inject all the woke, regular mainstream bullshit into things because they have to make a product for as many people as possible, not the fans. And that's every game now, every movie now, all the comic books right now. Oh, what's left to do? Turn Spider-Man black. Okay, what else can we do with this game over here? Everybody, you have a lesbian love angle shit. That's the way everything is because these people that are running the shit now, they didn't create it. They took all of their diversity, equity, inclusion classes in college, and they're bringing that shit that they just learned to the new thing that they get to take over. Everything's garbage now. So, is there room to talk about all of this stuff as it's happening? And I don't want to be that weird rumor guy who makes the video. Look at Rich Review Tech USA. Shut down his channel like a week ago, closed it, deleted all the videos. Had a lot of garbage videos where he just sat there and told you about rumors about the PlayStation 5. Like, so what? 2 days later, this video is not relevant or worth watching. I uploaded a review of a game. As you come across that game, you might look up a review and see if someone agrees with you about it. That seems to be more evergreen. But there is no money in evergreen content. The algorithm wants like all the shit I'm doing with YouTube on their back end of things, testing stuff for them. They all trying to gear you to be like super topical and only make reaction videos to all the other crazy dumb shit. Like we have to have somebody's reaction because that it's like if everybody's making a reaction video, you have to make a reaction video too. There so imagine this. You live in a city and every restaurant is Chinese food, but you make a pretty good taco. Screw you, because if you have the tenacity to make that one taco stand, you'll go bankrupt because it's not Chinese food. In practice, that's not the way that works. But because we have these YouTube overlords with the algorithm dictating what people will be recommended, rather than people having the free will to type and search shit, which we're goofing around with the search results, they want to make it so that they know what you want to watch better than you do. The search bars, those are there as a formality. Antiquated system. The algorithm plays something next. If you're watching my videos, shouldn't the next thing on autoplay be another one of my videos? You chose to watch my stuff. Autoplay should next be some more of my stuff. It never is. Yeah, Shannon Sharp right here. Oh man, I've been trying to. Let's see. He does like a side thing and then he throws his hand forward. I don't get it. That was more digital blackface gold right there on TV. Point I'm getting at is watch something of mine. Guarantee you the next thing up will be something that YouTube can make bigger money on. Shitload of views, monetized and with ad breaks in the middle, get more ads in there. That will be the content that gets recommended. What can YouTube make the most money off of? Not, screw what you want to watch. As you know, the Rogan interview with Trump last week wasn't easy to find on YouTube. I think there might be reasons for that. Rogan already had a video, a podcast for Friday. So I think this was supposed to go up Monday, but it was uploaded, unlisted, and in the playlist. So people that had the playlist bookmarked or just clicked on the playlist could get to it. So then you had an unlisted video you couldn't search for that then people were saying YouTube was hiding from the searches. And then they decided, okay, we jumped the gun on this. We have to release it anyway, late at night, like 10 p.m. or something. Now, to their usual schedule, we have to release this now, or it'll look like YouTube suppressing it, and then we won't get as many views come Monday when it's supposed to actually go live. I believe that's what actually happened. I don't think YouTube was manipulating the algorithm in support of Kamala here, but one could sure make the point that that is what it appeared to be on the surface. If you don't understand how the inner workings of running the YouTube channel go, that you would think it was a censorship issue. So that's what I have to say about that. Yeah, Rich and DSP are just the worst. They didn't know when to go out. Phil still doesn't know Phil. Saw Pet Shop of Horror anime from 90s the other night, kind of. I haven't heard of that. Hold on, I'm going to screen cap that and look that up. I am on a traditional 90s, 80s, 90s hand-drawn anime kick for sure. Eric, you weren't here when I was showing off the Macross Plus here, yeah. And we got art book. Let's art. But at the top here, that is where the discs go, the OVA and the movie version. I'm going to watch the last 2 episodes of that after the stream. Make me some popcorn, watch some anime, not talk to women, just like the 90s. Am I right, boys? Moment I watch Vaughn vid, it will go AVGN. Yeah, probably because he's going to play the older games. And it's like, hey, you want to see more older games, or like it does a weird thing where the algorithm is like, you don't want to see more of this creator. You want to see another Star Wars video, don't you? Like shit. The algorithm is not king. The algorithm is dumb as shit, and they're not willing to admit it because algorithm is flawless. I mean, Google likes to think of them as a search in the search business. They're trying to get out of that. They're trying to know you better than you know yourself, and you won't have to search anymore, right? Searching, that is so 1998. 1999 is when they go live, right? Or is it 97 when they launched or something? It's something weird. The first thing I Googled was the lyrics to All Star by Smash Mouth for a school project. Assignment, more than project. In your opinion, what are the hottest actresses of all time? Of all time, man, Jessica Alba is probably numero uno. Um, I'm trying to give you a solid white girl. Grace Kelly, not a bad one right there. Man, all of them, the classic Hollywood ones certainly have a mystique to them. I gotta say, almost all of them down the line really are just like, so much more put together than today's broads. So it wouldn't be anybody too damn recent, can tell you that much shit. Trump JRE was just clips. You couldn't get the full one. It was like Alex Jones shows. No, I watched Claudia Cardinelli. That's super high rank right there too. Yeah. In Once Upon a Time in the West. Yeah, that you might actually say that's better than The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Seriously, that easily the best Charles Bronson film, right? I mean, what's crazy? Charles Bronson was older than, oh God, the guy that was leading the Dirty Seven. The other guy, the guy from Delta Force that didn't get killed in the Dirty Dozen. Christ, why am I forgetting his name? Put it in the chat. Oh, that is beautiful. Love Robotech. Yeah, I'm not all that familiar with Robotech. I watched the first episode of Robotech on DVD in college out of curiosity. Some guy had and was because I hadn't really heard of it before, but I'd been wanting to see this. I knew that Macross Plus was somewhat related. The it was like listed as like a expensive mail order VHS in old magazines at the back of gaming magazines and stuff. And I knew of it, but it's like super elusive. You couldn't get this beyond VHS or DVD. And the movie version was on Tubi and it looked like total trash VHS rip. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna wait for the Blu-ray. Blu-ray was like $1,000 from Japan, wouldn't play on anything American, didn't have the English dub with Bryan Cranston. This does. And it's available on Crunchyroll right now, and it is super not cheap. So you'll want to have the Honey app on so you can get the good promo codes, knock some price off. Be damn sure about that. But you know what? Crunchyroll has been pretty good with their packaging. My Ninja Scroll limited edition Blu-ray, a little bit damaged on the slipcover, but I'm not a huge fan of slipcover, so I'm okay with that. No damage whatsoever here. And you didn't even see all this other stuff. You got the paper on the back, and then there's posters and art. Here, I'll show you guys a different art one. Yeah, like these big, like rather thick art things. And they knew that the people who are going for this like the physical stuff, right? So let's give them some physical things. You get a bunch of like physical media collectibles in here. Why is that not sliding in easily? There we go. So yeah, got to watch 2 more episodes of that. We're getting up to 2 hours, guys. Come on now. Either Dark Side Phil or Philip DeFranco. I thought he was thinking of Phil DeFranco. That's a name I haven't heard since, right? Smash Mouth first search. My brother was on Brad Neil Kumis baby cakes before I started searching. I'm not familiar with that. Read the read cha- r- read the 100 chapters of Macross. It's 3 small books. Or read, or I should read Jessica Rabbit or Android 18. I don't know who Android 18 is. Is that the like tall forehead chick in Dragon Ball Z? I'm not super crazy familiar with Dragon Ball, so I guess we'll have to go with Jessica Rabbit. Prime Beyonce is probably 1999 with like the first Destiny's Child song, if we're being totally real. I would take Prime Beyonce over Prime Jennifer Lopez. the Jennifer Lopez doesn't get hotter until after her prime, really. She, in ways, is more appealing now than in the late 90s. It's kind of a weird thing with her. Yeah. Um, you did that video on DeFranco way back in the day. Yeah, like these guys, like a lot of times once I talk about them, once I've gathered what I'm going to say, I move on to the next target. This isn't, you want to hear LeBron James get bashed every day of the week and recycle clips and just say the same thing over and over, but packages as a new video so I can get ad revenue and sucker in the new viewers with new videos that get mentioned more than old shit. That's not the way a channel should responsibly be ran. I have too many scruples to succeed here. And now I've got like a anti membership, which you know what? Maybe I can okay, here's the thing about that. The like name of your membership and stuff has to be approved by YouTube, and they may not approve membership or something. So I kind of had to just go like, there's only going to be one tier. So there's the only tier or some shit. It's kind of a bullshit thing. Yeah. What's your opinion on Sandra Bullock in Speed 1? Liked her. No issue there. That's the star making vehicle for her. We don't so much have star making vehicles at this point, do we? We just let Dwayne Johnson slide into the Fast and Furious franchise and then ease his way out. And then he kind of comes back because we have to have a Fast 11 or some garbage that I hope never gets made. It would be great if, like, the, what is it? Defrosted? What was that bitch? The Insurgent? Divergent Part 2 never gets made. Like, it would be great if that was the way Fast and Furious ended. Hold on, kid, we're gonna go for a ride. And then it's like flames all cut to Dwayne Johnson's coming back. Okay, sure. And then they never make the movies. That is the way that bullshit franchise should end. The franchise that it started off as Cars version of, oh god, shit, what's they even had a remake where they made more skydiving action sport. The surfing and the bank robbing. God, shit. Why am I not remembering that? It was the car version of that turned into a heist film. They wanted to try to be Ocean's 11, and then it turned into superhero stuff. Universal's answer to the superhero genre. But yeah, Point Break. Point Break was a movie. Yeah. Don't type it. I remember Point Break. It was the car version of Point Break. Okay. That'd be a fun way for that to wrap up for sure. It's almost surprising that we haven't had a true Speed remake at this point. Um, they would call it Speed, and it would star a chick, and there would be a nebbish guy driving the bus, and he wouldn't be white, right? There'd be a thing like that would have to happen. I did see that they are rebooting, and it's in production, Cliffhanger, starring that chick with the kind of like fish face, but she's British. Uh, she's in things, whatever. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies or something. Yeah, they're gonna make a Cliffhanger chick because why not? If what would we make? How could we make the movie better is not really the question. It's how do we make it different and in our own image is the question, right? So we have all these women go to college and then they get put in the industry and then now they have to make things for themselves. Shit, right? Cliffhanger is also Sesame Street Gang. Is also wait, you're saying there's a Sesame Street Gang and they're called Cliffhanger? I think you mean Price is Right game, I think is what you meant to say. There's a cliffhanger game on Price is Right. The guy looks like Dagwood and he goes up the cliff and then falls over. Gag like skit. Okay. Well, guys, what do you say we wrap this up? We got old Painless here. Gotta get old Painless out of the bag. That's a movie reference. Like that's the way movies are now. Hey, let's reference other movies so you like our movie. Shit. I'm gonna watch me some Macross Plus and probably have a video on that next week. I have a ramen noodle company sent me some free stuff, so I got to make a video on that. I have a short I plan to do explaining Inception. No, not Inception, Interstellar, because people don't seem to understand what that movie was about. So I'll explain Interstellar. Got that thing to do. Should I do some more Darkstalkers games? I am honestly thinking about letting my Xbox Game Pass Ultimate run out because I just don't want to play the stuff until it's released. Like we got a new Indiana Jones. If I don't hate it enough, if I don't hate the new Indiana Jones game or call it woke enough, I won't get any new viewers on YouTube. So it's either got to suck or it sucks and is woke. And then I got to keep making videos about it in order to keep those new viewers happy. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't proposition here anymore. I kind of want to play Stalker 2. That game is at least 2 or 3 years late to getting to Xbox. It was supposed to come out a while back. It was like promised to be a Game Pass Ultimate day one game years ago. So I don't really have high hopes for that, to be honest with you. But I might just let that kind of expire and play a lot of the stuff I have. Finally finish and try to get all the damn achievements and all the Resident Evils I picked up and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna start the popcorn and looks like everybody else is left because I'm about to do the smoke. So here we go. All right, if you made it this far, wait until marriage counseling.